If it feels like lately you've been posting your YouTube videos consistently, but you're still not seeing the views and subscribers that you want, then this video is for you. Trust me, I know what it feels like to be in a YouTube rut. I've been posting on this channel for over 10 years now, and I've seen all the ups and downs of being a YouTube creator. And I know that more than anything, posting consistently but not seeing results is so frustrating. So today I wanted to share my best tips for reviving your YouTube channel when it feels like nothing else is working. So when your YouTube channel isn't growing, here's what to try next. Welcome back to another coffee chat with Katie. As you can see, I am back in my condo here in Canada. After 3 months in Mexico, it does feel good to be home, even though I am back on that hot latte grind because it is cold here. If you notice that my video kind of looks different today, it's because I'm facing some lighting challenges at the moment. Getting home from Mexico, I was welcomed by this lovely view of construction right outside my window. So even though it's a beautiful sunny day out there, I have no idea in here because it's very dark. And usually I am a natural light filming kind of girly, so I've had to invest in some studio lights. The problem is with my Sony ZV-E10, I actually can't film with my regular overhead lights in my apartment because I get this banding issue. Trust me, I have tried everything. It's an issue with this camera in particular, or maybe my specific lights. But thankfully I was able to get this new LED light panel and I think it looks pretty good. At least I hope so. So anyway, bear with me as I figure out these lighting challenges. But anyway, let me know what you're drinking in the comments and let's get into how to revive your YouTube channel. Okay, so the first thing that you might be doing that could be causing your channel to be in a bit of a growth rut right now is that you're optimizing your videos for the search engine rather than for people. When you're just getting started, making search-based videos is a really helpful foundation to build your channel on. It can help you build up a good back catalog of content, and it also sends signals to the YouTube algorithm about what your channel is about and therefore who your videos are for. So while this is a good way to start, eventually it's really important that you pivot to a slightly different video strategy if you want to build a loyal audience that cares about you. Because here's the thing, search-based videos really foster a transactional audience. People that come to your channel to learn an answer to a question or a solution to a problem, and then once they receive that information, they leave. For example, I made lots of videos like this in the beginning, like how to add text to a TikTok, how to edit a TikTok vlog, that kind of thing. But not a lot of people who watched those videos actually ended up subscribing to me because they really just cared more about the solution to their problem than they did about me. On the other hand, storytelling, sharing advice, sharing your personal experience and your life, those types of videos really foster a relational audience. An audience that comes to have a relationship with you and to care about what you're gonna post next. These are the type of viewers that actually subscribe or become returning viewers. So if you've been working away at posting consistently and building up that library of search-based content for your channel, but you're not really seeing the growth that you want, now might be the time to pivot into some of this more homepage optimized content rather than search optimized content. Okay, so that's great, but how do we actually get our videos on the homepage? Well, let me tell you. This is a creative process that I've been using lately, which I think is a really helpful way to think about this that I don't hear a lot of other creators sharing. I like to come up with catchy titles and then reverse engineer a topic to fit with that title. So in fact, what this looks like is I sort of have two separate lists going. One list of catchy title ideas and one list of topics for videos. So for example, I might come up with catchy titles like why you're not growing on YouTube and what to try next, the secret to editing vlogs that actually get views, or the lie you've been told about YouTube growth. Then I have a separate list of concepts or ideas or struggles that I know creators have that I want to address. So for example, tips and tricks for getting your YouTube channel out of a growth rut, how to edit vlogs to make them more engaging and fast-paced to increase your view duration, why growing in a niche and then expanding your subject matter doesn't work as a YouTube growth strategy. So you can see with my second list, these are all formulated ideas of concepts or advice that I want to share in a video, but those are not really well-written titles, right? I'm not gonna just make that the YouTube title, it's way too long and convoluted. So what I do instead is I take a concept and I pair it with one of the title ideas. So for example, that concept about growing in a niche and then pivoting, I could pair that with the title, The Lie You've Been Told About YouTube Growth. But you can kind of see how there's actually a lot of different ideas I could pair with the title, The Lie You've Been Told About YouTube Growth. And so with this ideation method, you can take your best concepts and pair them with your best titles. Here's the thing, back in the day when I was really focused on search-based content, I never would have used some of the titles that I do now. For the same video that we were just talking about, I might have made the title How to Change Niches on YouTube in 2024, Tips for Pivoting Your Brand, or something long like that to try to get as many keywords in it as possible. But now I know that using a title like The Lie You've Been Told About YouTube Growth is actually gonna get way more clicks. It's gonna get way more people from the homepage interested in what I'm talking about. Whereas search-based videos only really target people that are specifically searching for them. Homepage optimized videos target everybody that you might be able to convince to be interested. Once I have my title and my concept paired up, then I use my YouTube scripting template to help me optimize the video for retention, for keeping people engaged. I've actually included this template that I use for every single video in my content creator starter kit. I'll have it linked in the description. Another reason why you might be in a rut, your videos are just kind of boring. Sorry. So here's a few key strategies that you can use to make your videos more interesting, which will then increase your view duration, which will then help get your videos recommended in the algorithm more frequently. First, you can add different background music for different segments of your video. Okay, so when most beginner editors get started with incorporating background music into their edits, they'll find a great track that like complements the vibe, fits into the background, doesn't disrupt the speaking, and then they'll copy and paste that over and over again in the timeline to fill out the length of the video. Okay, or at least I did that for sure. But here's the thing about doing that. When you have the same song continuing for the entire video, people like subconsciously at least catch onto that and notice that it kind of feels the same the whole time. And it adds to the vibe that like, this is getting boring. This is taking a really long time. Haven't I been listening to the same song for 7 minutes? Which could lead to them closing the video because it just doesn't feel that engaging. Instead, what you want to do is find natural breaking points within your video. So for example, with videos like mine, it's, each of my numbered tips or something is kind of the end of a segment. And I'm gonna have different background music for each of those segments. That helps me switch up the vibe or the feeling for each section of the video, which ultimately makes it feel a bit more fast paced. It doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, I've been watching this forever. And here's a crucial part of this tip. If the music isn't the right length for your segment, which most times it's not gonna be, what I recommend doing is making sure that you use the end section of your track to end off that segment of the video. This way, when you finish talking about a certain point, the music kind of just naturally comes to this end and it provides this catharsis, like, okay, I finished talking about this, the music is ending as well. It's all very satisfying. Another easy addition, add sound effects to your videos. Especially if you have different visuals popping up on screen, that's a great opportunity to incorporate it. I have a few that I like to use regularly whenever I show like a screenshot or something recorded on my computer. I'll use a little click sound effect to introduce it. If I'm showing old video footage, I will use this kind of camera shutter sound, or even the sound effect of a VHS tape going into a VCR. And sometimes when the mood is right, I might add in goofy ones like this disappointing trombone sound or a little ding to indicate something is correct or good. I feel like sound effects like this need to be used in moderation. Like, it can be great to use sound design to keep your viewer more engaged, but I think we all know those channels that just constantly have the horns going off like and that is just like really annoying. So you want to make sure that you're doing this in a balanced way, but it can be a perfect little sprinkle on top of your already engaging edit to make it just even more interesting. And finally, you're going to want to include lots of B-roll. B-roll is truly the key to making any video more interesting and engaging to watch. And it doesn't have to be complicated. All B-roll is just the visual representation of what you're talking about on camera, and it can either be literal or emotional. For example, if I was talking to you about how sometimes I find it really difficult working from the road because living in a van can kind of get lonely, I could show you literal actual clips of me working in my van to literally represent that, but I could also just show you clips of me looking kind of sad and lonely. So really, for any particular thing you're talking about, there's sort of two different creative ways that you could represent it visually, and alternating between these two approaches is a good way to keep your videos interesting. And if you don't have a lot of your own B-roll yet, then you can use Storyblocks, the sponsor of today's video. Storyblocks is an online stock media library. They've got stock footage you can use as B-roll. They've got sound effects, animation templates, and even background music. I've been using Storyblocks for years to enhance my YouTube videos. You might recognize this paper texture. I got that from Storyblocks. This film flicker effect that I use in a lot of title cards, also from Storyblocks. And especially when I'm editing my travel vlogs, I love to get establishing shots or aerial footage of the places that I've visited on Storyblocks. No matter your niche, Storyblocks has great creative assets that will help you make your YouTube videos more interesting. And you get access to all of it with just one subscription. And exciting news, Storyblocks is a special offer just for my audience. When you sign up using my link, you'll get 3 months free when you sign up for the annual plan of the individual license. So head over to storyblocks.com/Katie to take advantage of this offer. It's only going to be available till the end of May 2024. I'm told the offer won't appear at checkout, but as soon as you sign up, it'll be applied to your account. So go check out Storyblocks and get those 3 months free at storyblocks.com/Katie. Another common reason why you might end up in a YouTube growth rut is because you don't have a clear value add. This is especially a struggle for vloggers or lifestyle creators. Here's the thing, especially in the beginning, even if you're just making vlogs, you still need to have a clear takeaway or reason for people to click on your videos. A lot of people who are beginner lifestyle creators are kind of modeling themselves after their favorite creators that they follow. But especially in the lifestyle niche, the growth trajectory and the strategy is very different between getting started and then kind of continuing to nurture your audience once you have grown. Because once you're an established creator in the lifestyle niche, then your face becomes the hook, the reason for people to click and watch your videos. But when you're just getting started, that's not going to be the case because people don't know who you are yet. So you need to frame your content in a way where the viewer understands what they're going to get out of it. So instead of creating your videos from the standpoint of what do I want to make or what do I want to share, try to think about what will my viewer gain from watching this. So for example, instead of just doing like a generic day in my life vlog, maybe you could make the title something like My Productive Morning Routine as a Full-Time Content Creator. Then people understand they're maybe gonna get some inspo about how they can have a productive routine as a creator, or fill in the blank for whatever it is you do. So tell us what we're gonna get out of the video in your title and thumbnail. And if what we're gonna get out of the video is entertainment, inspiration, companionship, just good vibes, that's totally fine. But just make sure you communicate that value add through your title and thumbnail. The final reason I wanted to address today around why your YouTube channel might be in a rut is because maybe you just don't feel passionate about what you're creating anymore. This is kind of an annoying one to talk about because honestly, the advice isn't so tangible. And I love to give you all tips that you can actually apply and put into action. But there is this component to YouTube creation where you kind of just need to be excited about what you're doing. You kind of need to be feeling it. You kind of need to be living and breathing the topic that you want to talk about, because that's how you're going to get the best ideas, and that's also how you're going to have the best energy on camera, when you genuinely are excited about what you're making. And unfortunately, that's not something that you can just apply tips or hacks or habits in order to do. You kind of just need to feel that way. But the point that I'm trying to make here is if you really and truly don't feel excited or passionate about the type of videos that you have been making, that might be a sign that it's time to pivot and try something new. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be doing a complete 180 and talking about something different, but maybe you want to try experimenting with the style or the format of your videos. If you've always just sat down in front of a camera like this, maybe think about delivering the same kind of information, but doing it in a vlog style. Or maybe you want to talk about a similar thing, but from a slightly different angle. Consider how you might be able to shake things up a bit so that you can feel excited about what you're creating again. And if you're feeling really uninspired and really just out of ideas or energy for your current topic, then it might be time to consider changing niches. Sometimes we as creators just really need a change of pace or a fresh way to approach things. And really, you don't need to be terrified of change on your YouTube channel. I know it can be scary because maybe you're used to getting a certain number of views and you're worried that if you change, then that's not going to happen anymore. But I actually made a whole video about strategies that you can use during a pivot or during a niche change to really bring your audience along with you and come through that transition with a more successful YouTube channel than you have now. So if you want to check that out next, go ahead and watch this video. This is something that I've spent a ton of time thinking about, and I really shared all of my thoughts and strategies around it here. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having adventures and following your dreams, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.